We are never too far gone, too strung out, or too broken for the Lord. So I had to lay on the table, coked out, fully awake, watching them cut me open and pull this gelatinous blood clot out of my chest. Internally, I knew my life depended on this show. I ended up winning the show.
How much money did you win?
$510,000. I had some substances coursing through my veins, and I actually saw myself sink into hell with a net negative checking account. Flying back home, literally the only thing that I have is the Bible. If you're listening to this and you've had those close calls, you've had those should have been death experiences, you gotta recognize there's a Father in heaven guarding you for something. In fact, he didn't come to heal the healthy, he came to heal the sick. He came to rescue the one and bring him back to the 99.
Welcome to the show, bro.
Thank you.
So just to set the stage, Big Brother winner, you're an ultra marathoner now, father. What else, bro? What else do you do? Husband.
Yeah.
You got a crazy story, and like I want to open it with like how we met. Basically, I was running, you stopped me. You're like, how long are you running? And you're like, I just ran 22 miles yesterday. Like, we should connect. And then I think we got each other's numbers, and I don't think anything happened after that. Correct. And then Tyler Crispin like DMs me. He's like, yo, this guy's looking for a videographer. So like 2 times in a row, like God just kind of put us together. Yeah. It's like, that doesn't happen very often, you know? So pretty crazy.
Yeah. The Lord works in really cool ways.
Yeah.
And for reference, I don't just see someone running down the street and stop and talk to everybody.
Yeah.
I had already run that day, and I was with Caitlin and Sophia, and I saw you and Jamie running probably 20, 30 yards out.
Yeah.
And there was just like this gentle nudge from the Lord.
It's crazy.
Like, hey, just talk to him.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't, can I pray for you, or do you know about Jesus? It was literally just like, hey, just talk to him.
Sure.
And I guess it just resulted in, how many miles you're running today. And y'all stopped mid-stride.
Yeah.
You're like, what? I was like, how many miles are you running today? Cut you off mid-run.
Right.
But it ended up being such a crazy little divine appointment. And the other crazy part is, as I kind of made that post on Instagram, I probably got 40, 50 responses.
Yeah.
People sending other people's profiles, people responding themselves.
Yeah.
And the only one that I opened was Tyler saying, at I am Zach Day. That's all he said. Crazy. He just gave me your Instagram handle.
So nuts, bro.
And then I open it up.
Yeah.
Come over here. And that was sort of how we ended up in these chairs.
Yeah. You came over and you pretty much dropped your whole life story on me.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, that's crazy. You were interested in starting a podcast. I'm like, I have to have you on my podcast first.
Yeah.
Like, there's no doubt. And here we are.
Yeah. It's been a wild journey.
Yeah.
To say the least.
Yeah. So let's take it back to literally, what was your first ever memory?
Oh gosh. So the first ever memory I had was actually of my dad. Come to find out, I think it was either 1997 or 1998. I was born in 95.
Okay.
And I vividly remember him in the bathroom crying. And he had just lost his best friend, Charlie. My dad was in a band in Mississippi called The Tangents, and Charlie Jacobs was the lead singer. And my dad has quite a wild story as well. And right before I was born, he quit going on tour.
Yeah.
And he also quit drinking.
Wow.
And so he kind of set the tone from a very young age in my life, even before I was born, of what it means to be a sacrificial father, husband, sobriety.
Wow.
And I didn't always follow in that. Obviously, the first 26 years of my life, I left quite a wake of destruction, not only with the self, but with some of those around me. And my first core memory is seeing my dad at a very vulnerable, emotionally distraught state.
Interesting. Why do you think you remember that out of all the things?
I have no clue, but it always stuck with me, especially now being a dad.
Yeah.
Of, I don't know what Sophia's first memory of me might be, and the impact that my dad had on my life.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I could go on for hours on some of the things that he's
Yeah.
done for me.
Yeah.
So many of his words of wisdom, and he always calls them sermons. You know, he's
Yeah.
like, I'm just preaching again. But like,
Yeah.
little did he know, I listened to all of them. You know, they're all seeds sown.
For sure, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, your dad's like your superhero growing up.
Yeah.
Like you look at him like he's like the guy. Almost like he's God in a way.
Well, and you know, it's funny.
When you don't know any better.
You don't. Well, I was born and raised Catholic.
Yeah.
And funny story on that, when we were in church, the priest, Father Breen, I asked my dad one day, I go, is that God? My dad was like, no. My dad was like, no. But, you know,
that's so good.
It's funny because my dad, he had me when he was 43, right?
Okay.
And he started to gray and kind of lose his hair. And I remember I'd be like 5, 6, 7 years old playing at the playground and after school care. And all the kids were like, hey, your granddad's here. I'm like, no, that's my dad.
Yeah.
That's El Padre. So yeah, he's always been a big figure in my life.
What were you like as a child? Because I know you had a rebellion stage for sure, and we'll get into that. But yeah, what were you like just like growing up?
I was very social.
Okay.
I never napped at nap time.
Yeah.
You know, and all the parent-teacher conferences were pretty the same. They were, he always talks. He's very social. Doesn't really get in trouble.
Yeah.
Good student, you know, sharp, but just very social. But I was also an only child too. So I wasn't necessarily a spoiled only child. We grew up in South Nashville, and I had some things happen at a young age outside of the home that left a big impact on me. And then other challenges just as the world kind of shifted. You know, my mom was in real estate, 2006 and 2008.
Yeah.
Those couple of years were really tough. And my grandmother passed away. I lost my cousin kind of at a young age. And so just different things combined with some of the people in the neighborhood that I grew up with. You know, this is before cell phones. This is, you know, ride your bike, be home by dark 30.
Sure.
And there was a lot of stuff that happened that I've not talked about very openly. That in hindsight were a massive catalyst in some of the decisions and actions and paths that I ultimately followed.
Yeah, I guess like looking back now, you can see like how all those things impacted you and why you did the things that you did and why you were the way that you were.
Yeah.
So it's a good awareness for sure. I feel like a lot of people don't really have that awareness, and they just think like that's how life is. That's all they know.
Yeah.
You know. So pre Big Brother, I don't know what how old were you? Like 21, 22 in there.
So I moved out to California 2019. I was 23.
Yeah.
I was about to be 24 that June.
Yeah.
I moved out there in February.
And what were you going after in life at that time? Were you going after college? Were you after some kind of job?
So I was overweight, bullied in a couple different middle schools, and we moved to Franklin in 2010.
Okay.
And started as a freshman at Franklin High. So this is kind of like my clean slate.
Yeah.
And I never really knew who I was as a child. I didn't have an identity, and I certainly didn't have an identity in Christ.
Yeah.
But also, I was never really accepted, right? Like I grew up in Antioch, but I never really fit in with some of the kids in the neighborhood, you know, especially a lot of them being at a young age starting to get involved in gangs. Whether it was Gangster Disciples or Brown Powers or SIR 13s or MS 13s, like those were not, I was never really accepted into friend groups, right? Especially because I was going to a private school in Williamson County, 45 minutes away.
Right.
So I was kind of like, you know, the private school kid
Yeah.
in Antioch. But when I get to the private school, I'm the Antioch kid that has to ride the bus that didn't have the money that the private school kids had. And so I never really had friends that I could look at and be like, yo, these are like real authentic people. You know what I mean? That cared about me. There were a couple sprinkled in here and there that.
So that's what you were craving.
Yeah, I just wanted that kind of acceptance.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to feel desired as a friend.
Yeah.
You know, wanted to be hung out with and just have friends, especially being an only child. Like I didn't have siblings. I didn't, when I would go home from school or dealing with stuff in the neighborhood, like I'd sit in my room.
Sure.
You know, and so when I go to Franklin, now it's like, okay, clean slate. No one knows anything about me.
Yeah.
And my goal was just to I guess just try and be accepted, you know. And by the time I was a senior, my accolade in the yearbook was life of the party, you know, and like the picture is me slam dunking on a beer pong table. You know, I'm 18 years old.
You're trying to prove yourself,
yeah,
you know, in a way.
through, you know, I made my first fake ID when I was 15.
Yeah.
And I say none of these things proudly, but like for context as to who I was as a broken young man.
Yeah.
And it was thinking, you know, and this is kind of where a lot of the problem started was, you know, buying people's alcohol or doing anything I could to be invited to parties and thinking that people wanted to hang out with me, but in reality, they wanted what they could get out of me.
Yeah.
Because I gave everyone access.
Right.
I made myself available, whether it was physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever it might be, because I was just craving that acceptance. And so a lot of poor decisions came from that. And then I go to school in Knoxville, and I'm forced to be the pledge class president of the fraternity, and then I'm the social chair, and then I'm one of the pledge trainers, and I get really off the rails with a lot of substances, specifically the stimulants, the cocaine, the Adderall, and then it ultimately slips into Xanax.
Yeah. What did that feel like being on those drugs?
I mean, bro, the levels that I was consuming these substances in on a regular basis.
Yeah.
They're minimum of 60 to 120 milligrams of Adderall a day, 2 to 4 milligrams of Xanax a night.
Yeah. Regular dose
Daily,
of like 10.
Yeah, 10 to 30 max.
Yeah.
And not only that, when I was 21, I started taking anabolic steroids. And then ultimately, you know, a lot of my drug consumption then started turning into me buying large amounts and selling it to sustain my habits.
Yeah.
And
oh, wow.
And I got caught up in a really dark world in Nashville. So I was done at UT, and I come back home to Nashville. I was supposed to go to law school. I took the LSAT. I wanted to go be a lawyer, and really not because I had a desire to be in law. I was naturally gifted as a writer. I enjoyed litigation.
Yeah.
You know, these were things that were naturally easy for me. I steered away from things that may have been challenging, like math and science.
Yeah.
And, you know, I ended up spending a few days in jail in Knoxville right before the Monday before my law school applications were supposed to go out. So I had to take a year off. And I came back home to Nashville, and I'm working at the restaurant that I worked at for 4.5 years. And not only was I caught up in a dark drug world, I then got caught up in a very dark underground world here in Nashville. And over the next...
What does that mean?
There's a lot of things in Nashville that people are not aware about. And I'm not going to get too in the weeds on it, but there's a whole underground stratosphere of just evil and darkness.
Yeah.
It's very much like a Sodom and Gomorrah, right? And there was actually an arrest recently made. This chapter of my life was something I kind of thought I'd healed from.
Yeah.
Until I saw this dude's mugshot pop up on my Facebook page. And, you know, he was a man who was very prominent in Nashville. And he had a separate company as a life coach. And he was caught soliciting and engaging in prostitution and an underground ring with older, high-level, well-known women.
Yeah.
And soliciting young men with these women. And he got caught running this kind of world. And I got roped into that. And I quickly realized that at 23 years old, living the lifestyle I was living in Nashville, I was drinking 7 nights a week.
Yeah.
I was consuming high levels of drugs, steroids, extremely unhealthy, that I was either going to accidentally overdose.
Yeah.
I was also drinking myself to sleep and coping with the scars of the damage I was doing through substances every single day.
Wow.
I was either going to intentionally kill myself or someone was going to kill me, because the worlds that I was in way over my head.
Yeah.
And I never intended for that, but they're very slippery slopes. And again, like, none of these things proudly, right? But the Lord had so much grace on me, because there were so many situations that I should not have made through.
Yeah.
Like, I shouldn't have survived. There were things that happened. I was in circumstances that I should have and
Could
probably
have died, could have ended
died.
up in jail, could have gotten this crazy fight, injured for life, all these different things.
I walked into Knox County, arrested, and out of Knox County with a 1/4 ounce of cocaine in my wallet. They never found it. I should have had multiple charges. They never found it.
That's crazy.
And like that is the Lord's hand and grace on my life. And I think back on how much that I abused his grace and took it for granted and had just my back to him. Right. And he also, like, he let me, free will, Romans 1, hand him over to his desires.
Yeah.
But he never forsake me. Right. And that was the biggest thing. So when it's January of 2019 and I'm looking around at my life and I'm freaked out. Yeah. I kind of hit this, what I thought was rock bottom. It was really only the beginning. And I looked for a city, right? I wanted to do the exact opposite of everything I knew in Nashville. I thought about Miami, and I was like, there's no way I make it more than 6 months in Miami. It's no way.
Not a chance.
I thought about Dallas.
Yeah,
Dallas. It's very much like Nashville.
Yeah.
I thought about Chicago and New York, way too cold in the winter.
Yeah.
And then I thought about LA. And I had a buddy of mine who lived out in LA. He had moved out there about a year or two before, doing the personal training thing, right? Yeah. And I mean, he's so successful now. I could not be more proud of him. Mitch Barrett is somebody I really look up to. He's a few years younger than me. Yeah. And I look up to this dude in a lot of ways. And I did at that moment in my life too. I was like, he took a leap of faith and he's making something out of his life.
Yeah.
And so I picked LA. And I bought a one-way ticket for February 1st of 2019. I had less than $1,000 to my name. Found a month-to-month apartment in Hollywood, but I had no car. I had no job. Yeah. I had no plan. There was no agenda, right? I literally moved out there on the grounds that there's Gold's Gym in Venice, California. Yeah. Mitch is out there. There was also a girl that I was talking to, so like all these components, I'm like, LA is going to be fun. I'm 23. Worst case scenario, I just come back. Yeah. Like, I know what Nashville has for me, but if I don't leave now, I may never leave and I might not make it out of this place. So I move out there. I'll never forget it, because my mom was like, are you ready for this? Like, you have nothing in line. And I fly out there. I have 4 suitcases. And I'll never forget, I get all my bags in LAX, and LAX is chaos. If anyone's landed there, And I get the push cart. All my suitcases are stacked. And I walk out, and it's LA, pouring down rain. It was like the hardest rainstorm for a week and a half. It was like the worst rainstorm in 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And I just remember thinking, I was like, what am I doing out here? And I go to this apartment. A mutual friend had an extra bedroom, so I'm staying there. And I'm applying to every bartender server gig I could find, West Hollywood, anywhere. I probably hand out 50 applications. Yeah. Ain't nobody calling me back. And I see this ad on February 10th for a casting call. And my mom and I's relationship was turbulent, to say the least, a lot of my life. And, I certainly own a lot of the fault in that, in terms of combativeness and emotional instability, and just a lack of love, grace, and empathy. And during the summer, no matter what was going on between her and I, we could put this show on for 3 nights a week, an hour each episode. We could just watch Big Brother. And it's not like The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. I'm not knocking those shows, but
Sure.
like I just couldn't see myself doing that.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm very
So this was
competitive.
literally your favorite show.
This, Survivor, and Amazing Race.
Okay.
Like I love competition.
Yeah.
I love physical competition. I love strategy. I love puzzles. I was in chess club growing up. Like I love the mind games of this. I love the intricacies that these relationships, the social experiment of it all. You know, it's just such a unique environment.
Yeah.
16
'Cause you don't know
strangers.
what's going to happen.
No idea. Literally, the slogan is expect the unexpected.
Yeah.
And you never know who's going to be in there, what twists they're going to have. But I'd always grown up watching it, and I was like, man, that'd be so fun. You know, my mom, we talked about maybe doing Amazing Race together one day, and who knows how that would go. But it was something along those lines would always be fun. And so I go to this casting call, right? And I show up in jeans, cowboy boots, and a T-shirt. And I have a video on my phone somewhere of me with my little slip, right, with my name written on it, and it pans up. I'm one of the last people in line because they shut it off at 1 o'clock. I showed up at like 12:30. And Casey, the winner of Big Brother Season 20, who was on Tyler's show, who Tyler came in second place to, she was there and she was on the way out. So this video, it shows a little slip, shows Casey, and I go in. Now, granted, I'm strung out. I'd been struggling with addiction for a few years at this point now, probably going on close to 5 years with some of these substances, and not in a good place hormonally or emotionally. I go there, kind of put on the mask that I'd always had, that I've developed as a kid, you know, adapting to my environment, whoever the person in front of me wanted me to be. Like that's who I'll be, whether I was waiting tables, being a private school kid at the private school, being an Antioch kid in Antioch, like whatever it looked like, right? I just wanted to be accepted. And now those 24 years, 23 years of practice are going to pay off kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's a quick interview. Me and 4 other people were in a group, and you get about 90 seconds to make an impression. And they liked me. And they called me back the next day. Now, this is February, and they never really tell you whether or not you're going to be on the show. So anybody that's, you know, going through the casting process, they're going to leave you hanging, right? They're going to ask you questions. They call me back for a semifinal interview. Yeah. Now, that's in February too, the semifinals. But the show starts in June. Now, come to find out, this was like their first round of casting. So they're starting to build some of their characters. Right?
Okay. You were not expecting it at all.
No.
Yeah.
No. And in all actuality, up to that point, I always kind of thought if there's something good, it's never going to happen. And I did oftentimes see opportunities, and then something would come at the last second. And so with this, I was like, it's too good to be true.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to get blessed with this opportunity. I don't deserve it.
Yeah.
And just like most things in life, like it's going to get ripped away from me right before it's supposed to happen. And so I was just dead set on not losing this opportunity. And I lied about everything. Like everything. My life, not where I was from.
So you got the call, you
work.
got casted.
No. I didn't know.
During the 90 seconds that you got.
They just called me back for a semifinal interview.
Oh, okay.
And in the semifinals, they're asking me questions, but like I'm just saying and doing anything that they want me to. You know what I mean? And I'm sure they probably saw that and I go, this guy's great for TV. Like he's a puppet. You know what I'm saying? This is great for reality TV.
Sure.
He's unhinged and he's shameless and he is going to make for great content.
Yeah.
So February turns into March. Well, I start spiraling in LA. I'm out there somewhat alone. I had a couple things happen and I get into a very dark place. And in April, I was ready to go and fully take my own life.
Wow.
And there were some LAPD officers. They got called on me, found me in the apartment. And then a few weeks later, I had a couple things happen and a combination of a couple circumstances with the steroids, the cocaine, the Adderall, the different drugs. I had a stress-induced blood clot.
Wow.
near my heart that the whole chest was like purple, black and blue. And the one person that I knew out there, not Mitch, but that I was hoping would be able to help me, was not there to help. And so I had to drive myself to the doctor.
Wow.
And I was not happy, mad at the world. I'd gone days and days of no sleep. Like I'm walking through the streets of Hollywood late at night, like hearing voices, and couldn't sleep, dude, just like in shambles, mentally, psychologically going through like a major chapter of like disassociative reality, and almost felt like a manic phase just from all the different substances. And I'm driving through Beverly Hills on the way to the doctor. It's like 8:30 in the morning on a Friday.
Yeah.
And I am so mad just at everything around me. I'm going to the doctor. I open up my wallet while I'm driving and railed through all the coke that I had in there.
Wow.
I get to the doctor. They're like, we need to get you into the operating room immediately. And they go to wire me up with Dilaudid and give me some painkillers and put me under. And I asked him, I was like, hey, like, what about drug interactions? Like, what do you mean? I was like, well, cocaine. They were confused. They're like, well, no, it'll be in and out of your system. Like, when was the last time you consumed it? And I was like, 10 minutes ago. And the doctor who I got connected with, he was a regular of mine at the restaurant that I worked at in Beverly Hills. He knew me. And he came in that door. He was like, why are you not on the table yet? And they told him, I thought he was going to strangle me. He was like, you are an idiot. You were lucky to be alive, but we got to get this blood clot out. So I had to lay on the table. Took almost an hour and a half, coked out, fully awake, watching them cut me open and pull this gelatinous blood clot out of my chest, run 2 feet of hose through. They put a little pump thing in there, compression vest, the whole 9 yards. I got an 8-ball of coke that night and went through it all by myself with all that running through my chest.
Wow.
Now, this is 3.5 weeks before the show. Following Monday, I've got to check up, see how the surgery went, driving myself to the doctor. I'm driving myself back. I get T-boned on an intersection in Hollywood Boulevard, totaled my car. It's 3 weeks now before the show.
It's like the devil is like trying everything so you don't get on the show.
Bro, the producers reach out and they're like, hey,
how's it going?
Yeah, how's everything going? Like, let us know if there's any major changes in life. And I'm like, dude, I had an attempt to suicide, a surgery, totaled my car. But I'm like, no, everything's hunky-dory, bro. Like, everything's good. Like, okay, well, we want you to fly back to Nashville. And we want to get some shots of you with your pickup truck and all, because they were casting me like a typecast as like the dude from Nashville.
Right.
They were like, we don't, I know you live in LA now, but we don't want you to be from LA. And so I had sold my truck before I moved to LA.
Yeah, I was like, I'm like, you didn't have the truck.
And I didn't have the truck. And so, I called my parents. I'm like, hey, they want me to come to Nashville. And they're like, well, when are you coming? It was like June 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Which is also CMA Fest, biggest party weekend in Nashville. And they're coming to film on the 10th, Tuesday, June 10th. And naturally, I'm not going to come in that Monday. I'm going to come in the following Thursday so I can go out on Broadway for CMA Fest. I go out on Broadway. This is Thursday night, first night of CMA Fest. I fly back. Biggest opportunity of my life is 5 days away. And I'm hyped up. I see my friends. I'm like, I might get cast for the show. Like I might be going on Big Brother, all this different stuff. And we go out, and I was a regular at a couple different bars, and we go to one of them, and I immediately go to the rooftop, and I go to see my buddy who was a bartender there. And I have not even ordered a drink yet. I'm standing there at the bar Thursday night, minding my own business, waiting for him to come back around. All of a sudden, my left eye flashes white. This random dude punched me in the eye. I don't know if he mistook me for somebody or what. To this day, I have no clue. Punched me in the eye, getting a massive bar fight. I have a huge black eye 5 days before this show is supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And then I go out the following Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, of course. My mom was like, dude, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like you've got a life-changing opportunity in front of you and you're willing to throw it away.
Yeah.
And I say again, not proudly, but just context of like what kind of individual I was and where my headspace was at. And so Tuesday rolls around, you know, the producers are all in Nashville, they're in Franklin, and they're getting some shots of me doing this, doing that. And then they reveal to me like, hey, you know, we got your key and you're going on the show.
Yeah.
And they're like, we already have your phone. We've taken your phone. You're cut off from the world. You have a handler now and you've got a flight in 4 hours to LAX.
Yeah. And you have a black eye at this point?
I had makeup on it.
Okay.
And
so it wasn't like too bad.
they asked me, you know, like, how did this happen?
Okay.
Now I did box in college. And so my left eye would sometimes rupture easily, like the capillaries would easily bruise, right? Especially being like I would start right-handed.
Yeah.
My left eye was oftentimes most exposed to a jab.
Sure.
And so my left eye would bruise easily. So I told him, I was like, hey, when I came home, our dog was so excited and I went down to give her a kiss. She hit me with her skull and like bruised my eye. And I don't think they bought it, you know, but that was what I went
not
with.
bad.
That was the
bad.
story I went with.
Yeah.
And now here's kind of the catch 22. The 4 months that I was living in LA, and from the moment that I knew I was potentially going to get cast for the show, I knew alprazolam specifically can kill you if you just go off cold turkey. And I had 4 months of time to get clean and get off of some of these drugs. And I just kind of, you know, tomorrow.
Yep.
And well, tomorrow's here. And, you know, I had my suitcase full of Xanax, Adderall. We stop at a gas station on the way to LAX. I run to the bathroom. I empty all the drugs out of my wallet. And then we go to the airport and we land in Burbank. And, you know, the handlers, they take me up to my room. They search all my stuff. And they're like, you know, because in the casting process, you go through a very in-depth psychological evaluation. I mean, thousands and thousands of questions and exams, and they're looking at your personality type and all this different stuff. You're meeting with therapists, you're meeting with psychologists, you're meeting with medical examiners. They're asking about your medical history, and they open up my suitcase and they're like, what are these prescriptions? You know, like, what are all these Xanax for? I'm like, I meant to tell you. Because I was afraid to mention it on the front end of the casting process. Because I thought if I gave them any reason not to cast me, I was going to blow it. And internally, I knew my life depended on this show. Like, I wasn't going to survive the summer in LA.
Wow.
I was in such a bad spot, bro. I was not well.
Yeah.
And they didn't really know what to do. Over that next week when I was in sequester was when I really spiraled. And then I got cut off going into the house. And so when I moved into this house, it was kind of
You were going through withdrawal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, there's 8 beds, 16 people. And me and the biggest dude on the show ended up being like bedmates. And bless his heart, bro, having to sleep next to me. I'd wake up, bed is drenched in sweat. Like I was having night terrors and just trying to hide all the things that I was feeling and experiencing, you know, and being overweight as a child, food was a coping mechanism, right? And I went into this show in extremely good shape. And something that I've kind of touched on here and there, but not necessarily been as open about was I struggled with an eating disorder for 7 years. And I was so afraid of being that inner fat kid that I never healed from. You know, that bullied, overweight child that never mended those wounds. I was so afraid of being that person. That's where the steroids came from. That's where the vanity and the self-idolatry came from. That's where the obsessive working out came from, you know? And so I go into this show, I'm peeled, like diced, best shape of my life. But now all the new coping mechanisms, right? Like I traded food for women, drugs, and alcohol.
Yep.
Oh, well, now the drugs are gone. Now the alcohol's gone, and I got to work through emotions. Like I'm like a toddler.
Yeah.
I got all these big emotions and no regulatory system. I have no ability to filter thoughts and feelings as they come. How do I process them, refine them, and then release them in a healthy way? I didn't know how to do it. So in the house, food, I started to stress eat a lot.
Yeah.
Right. And I started to gain weight in the house. And, you know, if anybody were to watch some of the live feeds back or some of the footage, and I think online people kind of connect to like, hey, there's some signs here, some red flags of different things like behaviors,
Sure.
right, that I was exhibiting that although I wasn't necessarily losing my mind, because I will say this, being in an environment where you have no outside access, I actually think was one of the best things for me to work through some of these substances for those 100 days.
Sure.
Because it completely removed the option, right? It's like weaning an infant.
Sure.
You know, like it completely cut off the opportunity for me to source any of these substances.
Yeah.
And over the course of the next 100 days, I ended up winning the show. And the first thing I did that night when I got all my belongings back was take a Xanax. The next morning, took an Adderall.
Yeah.
I got a 1/4 ounce of Coke, got some ecstasy, went to Vegas.
So you went right back to the lifestyle.
Went to Vegas. And now I've got a little bit of popularity, a little bit of money,
Sure.
no mentorship, no guidance, no counsel, no real people close to me physically
Yeah.
that cared about my well-being. And the few that were, kind of pushed them out.
Them away.
Yeah, because now you talk about an inner child who just wanted acceptance.
Yeah.
Now I just won the show. And coming from somewhat of a financially challenged upbringing, now I got
How
some
much money did you win?
$510,000. As a 24-year-old
Yeah.
degenerate, it seems like a lot. It ain't gonna last long.
No. Yeah. You have to pay taxes on that too?
So, yeah, and wasn't really aware of that.
Yeah.
Never really didn't take that into consideration. I'll say that. And so now 2019, this is 2019. The show ends September 25th of 2019. And as the show is, you know, unwinding, doing events, making social media money,
Yeah.
right? Fast forward into 2020, and I ended up getting my dog, Sahara, who is such a blessing. Like, I think that was the first female that the Lord is bringing into my life to soften me up. She was a rescue. She's very sensitive, very
still have her?
emotionally in tune. I do. She's seven
awesome.
years old. She still runs like the day I got her at the shelter.
Oh, that's awesome.
But she was a mirror for me. And when I got her, I was extremely aggressive. I was emotionally irregular. I had no ability to control my thoughts and feelings. And she reflected things back at me. When I was stressed, when I was angry, she let me know I was out of whack. And that was like the first phase of softening my heart and making me gentle in my life.
Yeah.
You know, and 2020 hits, COVID hits, and me and 2 other buddies, we decided we were going to move to Vegas. So we moved to Vegas the summer of 2020. And that was when I kind of realized, like, I'm torn. You know, there was a man, mentor, brother that I met, and his name's JJ. And JJ had more of an impact in my life than just about anybody other than my dad. Right before I moved to Vegas, I ended up meeting JJ.
Yeah.
Because some of the people I was with, like, hey, if you're moving to Vegas, like, you need to meet JJ. He knows everybody in Vegas.
Yeah.
And JJ was like, bro, you can't live in Vegas. Yeah. And he took me under his wing. And so although I was one of 3 roommates in Vegas, I was spending a lot of my time living in Orange County with JJ. And he was the first one that it was like 3.5, 4 months of therapy and unpacking.
You believe her?
Yeah, he is. And he listened to me. He keeps it real though. Like he ain't the type of friend to sugarcoat it, bro. He keeps it a buck.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah.
And he helped me unpack a lot of the things in my life, a lot of the feelings, a lot of the emotions, a lot of the scars, the wounds. Like he was a massive role model in my life, especially because this man's been through a lot too.
Yeah.
And so to have somebody be there and take me under his wing and give me a place to live and be healthy at that time in my life, I firmly believe was another moment that like saved my life. Yeah. Because I would have been living in Vegas unhinged. And
doing the same thing.
Yeah. And it would have been just like Nashville, but worse. Sure. And Vegas is even smaller of a city than Nashville, especially the locals. And I was already kind of getting into some trouble in Vegas, like with people. I didn't need to be there. Yeah. And anyways, I moved out of Vegas in October, but I had a night in Palm Springs. And I had a night in Palm Springs where I had some substances involved and different things that happened. And it was one of the worst nights of my life. And I realized this was the Lord's last warning shot for me. And it was, if I didn't drastically turn my life around and do a hard 180, I was going to burn eternally. And I was running out of grace. My abuse of grace was coming to an end. And so October of 2020, I went cold turkey. I cut out every substance except for cannabis at the time, but cocaine, ecstasy, Xanax, painkillers, steroids, all of it, all at once. And I went manic for like 2 weeks. Wow. Like I look at my Instagram archive on that chapter in my life, bro, I was moving out of Vegas. Like, dude, I'm in a black hoodie covered in dog hair, haven't showered in days, white Monster Energy, U-Haul behind me.
And this is after you won the show.
Yeah,
right?
bro, I'm sleeping in parking lots in Southern California. I have no idea what I'm going to do. I'm boarding my dog in a dog hotel at night because I don't want her to risk something happening in the parking lots of LA. And I'm literally living out of a U-Haul for weeks. No idea where I'm going to go, bouncing from Airbnb to Airbnb to Airbnb because I refused to go home. And then I ended up finding, like through a Craigslist ad, a room for rent in the mountains of Southern California. And I move all my stuff into this house. The last trip I make, I ended up wrapping my Jeep around a pole. Totaled it on the PCH. Fortunately, my dog was not in the car. Otherwise, she would have been killed. Wow. And, it was just a combination of one thing after the other.
So, like, what's going through your head at this point? Like, do you have, like, any control of, like, what you're doing? Like, is there any way out of doing these drugs?
Well,
is there any hope?
I decided I was done with them, right? And so October, I was done. And then fast forward November and December, I'm still smoking weed.
What made you decide to be done with them?
It was that night in Palm Springs where I had some substances coursing through my veins, and I actually saw myself sink into hell. And I realized that the destination I was going towards for eternity was not in the presence of God, but in his absence.
Wow.
And
was it a dream or?
No, it was one of the most real things I can remember. I mean, bro, it freaked me out. I ended up having.
Were you like so high that where you were like hallucinating kind of
thing? And I had a full-on panic attack that night. The next day I woke up, I went for a run in the desert, and I ran as hard and as fast as I could until I couldn't run anymore, and then I had to double it back. And that was the night that I realized everything I was doing, soon I was going to run out of chances. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And did you believe in God at all? Or like, who was your God? Like, God is the thing that you make most supreme in your life. Yeah. Like, what would you say your God was at that point?
My flesh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything that I wanted, anything in the world.
Yeah.
Any
pleasure.
Yeah. That all the things between the substances, women, parties, whatever it might be, just all the fleeting things.
Yeah.
Right. And I was born and raised Catholic. I was born and raised in the church. I had no relationship with Jesus.
Yeah.
As a Catholic, I never read the Bible myself.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that Catholics can't have a relationship with Jesus. I was Catholic and had no relationship with Jesus. That's my story.
Yeah.
And I never pursued him though. You know, I'm an altar boy.
Yeah.
With Coke in my back pocket.
Sure.
You know, I used to, bro, my faith was so distorted. Like my abuse of faith was so distorted. And I was so afraid of overdosing because of how many drugs I was consuming. I used to pray over every line of Coke I did.
Wow.
Like I could be in a room full of people and I would stop and audibly pray over that Coke.
Wow.
Like that's how twisted I was. Like that was my live however you want, you know, abuse the grace. Yeah, Jesus has saved me, but I don't know him. I've never read the Bible. I don't know his word. I've never truly seeked him in anything that I've done. And I just expect to live however I want in the world. And like this is just okay. And I think that was where, you know, I also have so much empathy for believers and quote unquote Christians, the guys that wear a cross necklace out on Broadway, the guys that, or the girls that, you know, Bible verse in the bio, but the page is all body. You know, like I understand, I get that.
Yeah.
Because I lived that for a long time.
Yeah.
But then I eventually had a night where so many different things had led up, like chance after chance after chance after chance. And I'm just like a kid, just la, 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 I'm not listening to you, God. Like, I'm not doing it. And then eventually he met me in the desert and revealed to me, like, yo, if you don't get it together and quick, time's running out.
Yeah.
And so I snapped. Dude, I went off the rails. On Instagram, I started talking about everything. I cut everything off. And it was like, yo, people were reaching out to me like, yo, are you okay? Like, you need to get off your phone. You need to get off social media. And I was like, dude, I'm feeling better than ever before. Now, I was in a manic state.
Sure.
And at the time, though, I will say this. My heart now is when I started to pursue the Lord, right? And then I move up to the mountains of Southern California. And it's me and my dog. And we're cut off. We have no cell signal. It's just mountains off in Malibu. And in 2021, my dog, Sahara, and I, we are going for a run in the mountains. And we ended up getting attacked by two dogs. And now at this moment in my life, right, I was in the process of creating my LLC and 501c3. I was working on a supplement company. I was going to open up a gym in LA, a faith-based gym in LA. And like, I got a lot of love for Bradley Martin. And Zoo Culture was my home gym. I lived 8 minutes away from Zoo.
Yeah.
But I saw this gym and I'd be out there, I'd be working out, watching millions and millions and millions of people walk through the door through these influencers. You got one cat walking in with 8 million followers, another one with 3 million followers, another one 1.5 million, TikTok, Instagram, all these people. And they are single-handedly changing the course and direction of the next generation. And I'm like, what influence are we making?
Yeah.
Like this little gym has so much power and it has so much influence over the ones younger than us and older, but especially the youth.
Yeah.
And so my desire was to open up a gym like right next to Zoo, but a faith-based gym and combat the culture of Zoo Culture.
Yeah.
And ultimately my heart was not in the right place. I would never have been able to steward that responsibility well. And the Lord wrecked it. 2021, March, my dog and I, we get attacked by these dogs. I ended up having 2 tears in the labrum in my shoulder, slap chair, torn cartilage, debridement. And in June of 2021, I had to have a full reconstructive shoulder surgery. Wow. So now at this moment, right, like I have no choice. I got to sit, be still, and know that he is God.
Wow.
It was like the most Psalm 46:10 moment.
So that desert thing happened, and then like, did you start reading the Bible? Did you start praying more? Like what was the journey after that? Like obviously some of that what you just said, but the journey to finding Jesus.
So I was listening to devotionals online.
Okay.
And at the beginning of March at Zoo Culture, I met this dude named Tony. Tony is one of my closest friends, and he's actually the man who discipled me. He moved out to LA, and he just wanted to be a light in LA. He gave me what's called a fast track, which is Genesis to Revelation in 90 minutes. And he gave me that fast track in March.
Yeah.
I took it home. I was like, oh, yeah, that's super cool. Like, we hung out all the time. We work out together.
Sure.
And it sat on my desk for months. And in June, now I'm sitting in the mountains, sling on. I can't run. I can't walk. I can't work out. Had a nasty shoulder surgery. And what's funny is I was willing to do everything but be still and read the Bible. So the following week after my surgery, I know in my heart that I'm not supposed to go to the gym, but I go to the gym anyways. I go to Zoo Culture in my sling. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to train legs and I'm going to train my left side, like left side, strong side, and I'm going to train my legs. And as I'm like picking up weights and stuff, I feel my shoulder like moving around and I'm like, I'm doing too much, but stubborn, didn't want to listen. A couple days later, I ended up getting bursitis in my left knee, swole up, nasty infection. I had to go to the ER. And as they're draining out my knee, I'm literally looking up and I'm like, okay, I hear you. Like, I surrender. And so I go home and I open up that fast track. And I read that fast track cover to cover probably 6 times. And that was over the next probably 2.5 months. September hits, I get a phone call about the taxes.
From Big Brother?
No, from who I thought was handling my taxes. And never got filed. And so, I had been spending and just kind of burning through money. Like, it's expensive to live out in LA. And the social media money had come and gone, especially when I kind of cut everything off. Like, I wasn't doing what most influencers should do to continue to monetize. Because then I got to a point, like after that night in the desert, I was like, dude, I don't care about any of this. Like, I don't want to be an influencer anymore. I don't want to do these sellout brand deals and sell your body for money and like all these different thirst traps and all the things that you can fall into in that world, especially when the money is so easy, right? And I was like, I don't want to do it anymore. Like, I want to be a good influence. I don't want to be an influencer though. And so September hits and I'm kind of running out of cash and I'm in the stock market as well. I'm day trading, investing, because I picked up a skill while I couldn't work, do anything, and I learned, the stock market. And I had very strict rules in place, so I didn't blow up my account. But after I got that call, I was like, yo, I owe the IRS a pretty good chunk of change. And I broke every one of my rules. I ended up blowing my account to pieces, lost all the money that I had in there. And I had just enough money left to buy a storage unit for the first and last month and get a one-way ticket back home to Franklin. I couldn't even afford movers. So I reached out to North Star Moving and did a brand deal with the movers and agreed to post them in exchange for them to move my stuff. I couldn't even put a box together because I was in a shoulder sling. But that's how broke I was. And I bought my first Bible in November of 2021, about a week before the movers came. And so I load everything up into a they load everything up into a storage unit. And I had no idea where to start on my Bible journey. So I just started with Genesis, page 1. And I was reading Genesis. I'll never forget this moment. It's a nighttime flight. And I'm sitting there, Sahara's at my feet. I've got a carry-on and a one-way ticket back home to the city and the home that I kind of ran from. And the city that I told myself I'm never coming back to. Like, I never want to come back to Nashville. I never want to go back to Franklin. I never want to see any of this stuff again. And now here I am. I just, in 2 years, did what all the people said I would. You're going to blow it. And having to face that, and I didn't help my parents. you know, they're both still working. My mom and I's relationship was not good and didn't fulfill the promises that I told her I would do if I won the show.
Yeah.
And now with a net negative checking account, flying back home, literally the only thing that I have is the Bible. Because I can't work. I have no car waiting at home. And I am so embarrassed that I don't want anybody to know where I am. So I changed my phone number and I go back to Franklin to live in the room that I grew up in high school. And I go to physical therapy and back. But I wake up, I read the Bible.
Yeah.
I actually started working on my real estate license in Texas. Never ended up moving to Texas. I was so ready to live anywhere other than Nashville. I never wanted to. I was like, dude, even then I took a 180-hour course.
Yeah.
Because I was so ready to leave Nashville again. And I ended up just reading Genesis through Revelation. And, you know, I in that time ended up getting connected with some people at a local Bible study. And that was in 2022. And I just finished reading the Bible. And I go to brunch with this guy. And, you know, I'm getting letters from the IRS. I'm borrowing money from my parents to keep the storage unit so they don't seize all my belongings. And I have not told anybody about where I'm at in life. You know, some people just thought I came back for a little bit just to visit my family or whatever.
Yeah.
And this guy is like, yo, let's go get brunch. I just want to hear kind of about your story, kind of like what we're doing right here.
Yeah.
I left out a lot of the back end money part because I didn't really know how all this tax situation was going to shake out. And he randomly, he's like, yo, I got this job. I think you'd be really good at it. And I was like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, dude, you have no idea what I'm facing right now. It's like, I will do anything, but I try to play it cool.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know, if you're interested for like another stream of income, I was like, yeah, you know, I'll hear you out. And it's selling roofs, like door-to-door sales.
And that's what you're doing right now?
Selling roofs.
Wow.
And that was in 2022. We get in the car. He calls a sales manager, and the sales manager was one of the groomsmen of my wedding. He's one of my best friends still. He's in his 40s. He's like a big brother to me.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, man, what do you got going on tomorrow? You want to come into the office? I was like, I can move some things around. And so my mom drives me to the office in her car, drops me off. I go into this interview and I, you know, talk to the owner and it's with Bluebird Roofing. And you know, they gave me a chance and I told Justin, I was like, man, like I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I've never been in construction. I've never been in sales. I've never been in door-to-door sales. I've never been in roofing. Yeah. But I will not let you down. I won't be outworked. And I got my work car in June after I finished training, you know, and that following weekend was Caitlin and I's first date. I'd met her at that Bible study. Crazy. And we were going for a hike. I picked her up in my Bluebird car because I didn't have a car. Yeah. And when I picked her up, she was like, is this your work car? And I was like, well, yeah. And she was like, you didn't want to pick me up in your other car? I was like, well, I had a Jeep, but you know, with this job, I don't really need it. You know, just trying to play it off. Yeah. And we ended up going on a hike and that was in June of 22. You know, we started dating in July of 22. Then we both got baptized together, August of 22. Crazy. Then,
and are you like struggling with drugs at all during this, or
no?
Do you like fear going back to that life? Is there like voices in your head that are trying to get you back?
Not with drugs. So prior to meeting Caitlin, I did not know if I was going to give up alcohol. I thought, you know, I can socially drink every once in a while, maybe somebody's birthday, have a beer, you know, champagne at a wedding. You know, I can casually, socially drink here and there. It's not going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And when I met Caitlin, I knew I needed to be on high alert because I knew she was a blessing. And I knew there was going to be a spiritual attack coming right around the corner. Yeah. And I didn't listen to that. I got an invite from a buddy. I was like, hey, man, you know, we're doing a barbecue at my house for my friend's birthday. You should come. And, you know, his friend is a female. And he's like, we're just having some people grilling out burgers, hamburgers, hot dogs, cigars, couple drinks. And, no, part of me was like, I should just drive my work car. So I have to go home before the sun goes down. And so I can't drink.
Yeah.
And I I heard this voice, the enemy, say like, you know, don't be scared. Like you can go have a couple drinks, you know, like, it's not a big deal.
Sure.
You'll be fine. And against better judgment, I ended up Ubering there. And this is the night before my first date with Caitlin. I had read the Bible.
Yeah.
Right. And I ended up having a horrible night. And, you know, I ended up at Whiskey Row, hammered. And I woke up the next morning just disgusted with myself. I was like, this is not me. I didn't want that. I don't want that. Never again. And that night was the night that was the catalyst for me to completely give up alcohol for the rest of my life. Wow. And it was after that night that I realized I'm ready to fully give my life to Christ and be baptized. And so what the enemy intended to use for evil, the Lord turned around and used for good. And, you know, even though I'd read the entire Bible, we are never done being refined.
Yeah.
And that night was a massive, massive needle mover for me in terms of the life that I never wanted to go back to and never wanted to dabble with. And I'm not the type of person that can kind of crack those doors of temptation or fleshly things. Like I have to keep them shut and never open again. And that.
How long have you been sober for?
3.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
July 4th of 22. And
is it hard?
No. The only times when I think about alcohol is if I'm near a body of water. Like if I'm on a boat with somebody, like on a fishing trip, or if I'm on a beach and I just see people, I'm like, just the sound of like a cold beer sounds nice, but I don't have that like itch, right? Like if you laid out everything that I used to struggle with, any of the substances or alcohol, like pornography was never a problem for me. Women were, but like I never struggled with that. I don't have any desire to go back to the life I used to live. Yeah. There is one thing though that I notice has a pull like nothing else does. And it's gambling.
Interesting.
Gambling. I loved craps. I loved craps.
When was the last time you played?
When I lived in Vegas.
Okay.
I will say this to anybody listening. I actually never lost money playing craps. Like I didn't have I didn't burn my money gambling. I would spend hours, sometimes days at the craps table. And I just love the rush of throwing those dice. Like that was my game. And the thought of craps, I'm like, dude, but it's such a fun activity, you know? But anyway.
Crazy, bro. Your story is just absolutely nuts. And like the first time I met you, I would have never thought like that you went through all that. Like the way that you carry yourself, like when you came here, like you prayed for me before you left. Like that's the man that I see you. So like I don't see like any of that past. So it's just crazy how you went through all those things, all that darkness, but you still walk as a godly man today.
I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah. I feel like, you know, you're an extremist, right? You're kind of all in or all out.
100%.
So I think recently you've had to, you know, take all those desires, those evil desires, and like, okay, where can I put that? And I mean, you just ran 50 something miles, 3 days ago, 4 days ago?
Yeah.
So now you're into ultra running, you're training for a marathon. What else are you doing in, you know, the physical realm of things?
In October of 24, the owner of the company of Bluebird Roofing, Justin, he pulled me out of sales, and now I'm the director of sales for the company. And I've had the privilege and the blessing of building, well, the Lord has built this team, but guarding and stewarding this team of men, salesmen, you know, and hiring, training, and developing each of them one by one. We got 12 guys on the team, and pouring into them first on a personal and then a professional level. But, you know, working in that regard, 70 to 80 hour weeks, you know, like just massive pouring into that. Sure. But then also you need to be a husband and a dad. And now Sophia's old enough to know who dad is.
Yeah.
And I will not be absent in her life. And also doing the things that I know physically and spiritually I need to be a good version of myself.
Yep.
And that is, like you said, man, I've always been an extremist. You know, I was actually just messaging back and forth with a buddy of mine, and he was like, dude, you're nuts. You know, and like in college, my friends would call me a human science experiment because of the levels that I would drink and consume substances and the amount of time that I would stay up and never go to bed.
Yeah.
You know, and now taking all of that and putting it into healthy avenues, but there's a caveat. Like running, for example.
Yeah.
Running was an idol in my life before.
I was just going to say that. Yeah. Like it can become an idol.
It's been that before.
Yeah.
There was a year and a half of my life where I never missed a day and I never ran less than a half marathon.
Dang.
Every day.
Dang.
I never missed a day. I would be up for 3-4 days on end and I would never miss a day. I didn't care what was going on. Even like when I was pledging and locked in a basement, I would sneak out and go get my run on the track. Like,
No way.
I'd never missed.
Wow.
It was an idol in my life, you know, and the gym has been an idol in my life. That inner fat child, when I had that shoulder surgery, I gained a ton of weight.
Yeah.
I lost all my muscle mass. I have before pictures and after, and I had to face the inner fat child and heal and love him.
Yeah.
Right. Like I had to face the broken young man and love him. And not just love the in shape, healthy guy, because that will go.
That's good. That's really good.
And now I have to make sure my heart posture and everything I do is seeking the Lord. Because if I'm not seeking the Lord, I'm seeking something else. And I've done that so much in my life that's where I have to guard. That's where I have to shepherd my desires. I have to be very discerning on who I allow near me. I have to be very discerning on people's intentions. I have to be very discerning on, because I've been blessed to the people that I used to grow up on Instagram and YouTube watching, like hanging out with them, partying with them, friends with them. Like I'm no longer wooed by people's status or followers or connections. Like I don't care about that. I need godly men. I need someone who's going to sharpen me as iron sharpens iron, and also I'm going to sharpen back.
Exactly.
You know, because like the circle of people that we have around us and the things that we do, we are called to love everyone. We are not called to receive from everybody. And now the things that I want to do with my time are either building up those around me or building the kingdom together, while building myself up towards the image of Christ in as much of a pure way as possible.
Yeah.
You know, because anything, like even going to the gym, are we going there to create a temple for the Lord, or are we going there to flex and stare at ourselves in the mirror and create an idol out of our flesh?
Sure.
You know, so the Lord blessed us when we closed on our house last year with a full home gym, no mirrors in there.
Yeah.
No
I remember
mirrors.
you ordered them and they broke? They didn't get didn't get delivered? Like what happened?
So Facebook Marketplace, the Lord blessed us with 11 commercial grade Cybex gym pieces.
Yeah.
It's like a full gym in our garage
Holy
to
smokes.
give men
Yeah.
a place to bring men
Yeah.
to put worship music on, talk about the Lord, get in the word. There's a sauna, there's a cold plunge, there's all this gym equipment to give them a place of spiritual and physical connection, right? This is that vision that I got from the Lord of opening up a gym in LA. This is like the seed of that now. This is like the beginning stages. And I found another thing on Facebook Marketplace. It was like an 8x4 mirror for like $60. I was like, dude, thank you.
Easy money.
Thank you, God. Like this is such a good steal. Like, thank you. What a blessing. I go and pick it up. I go to unload it. And right when I go to move it, it explodes, just shatters into a million pieces. And I'll never forget, I just remember feeling like the Lord is telling me, like, yo, this is supposed to be a place that reflects me. It is not a reflection of yourself. I need you to reflect me. And so there's no mirrors in the gym. And it is a really cool place. But, you know, like you're asking, where do we put those desires and those drives,
Yeah.
it's not only what we do, but why do we do them?
Exactly.
What is our heart posture behind it? And that's one of the most deceitful ways that the enemy works is, okay, running might not be a sin, but is it an idol in my life?
Sure.
Am I seeking the Lord on my run?
Yep.
Or am I running because I'm chasing an 8-pack?
Yep.
Am I running because I'm chasing a Boston bib?
Sure.
You know,
Yeah,
like
to post that on Instagram and like, what do all these people think about me now?
correct. Even posting your run on Instagram.
Yeah.
Am I posting it with a heart posture of encouragement? Or am I posting it in a heart posture of, hey, yo, look at what I just did?
Yeah.
Now, we can't judge the heart of anyone, but the Lord knows our heart.
He does.
And that's another place where I have the utmost grace with people. I'm like, you know, sometimes we are so quick to throw stones. And I'm like, yeah, you don't know his heart, right? Now, I do know for me, when I was living in LA and I had the Louis Vuitton duffel bags and the Cartier bracelets and rings and watches and stuff, like I remember my heart posture when I would get dressed every day,
Sure.
putting on these pieces of jewelry and looking.
I mean, you probably
way.
still catch yourself once in a while. I mean, I know I do for sure.
Well, it's like, you know, when I used to work out at a public gym, I'm like, baggy tees only,
Yeah.
big t-shirts only now. You know what I'm saying? Double X.
Yeah.
Because I can slip, right?
Sure.
I know, like I have a rule for myself that, so in the morning, I am not allowed to look in the mirror or check my phone until I have prayed and gotten in the Word and spent time with the Lord.
It's good.
Because if I don't, you know, Atomic Habits, if we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems, right? So if I don't have systems in place, if I don't have structures and parameters, boundaries, biblical boundaries, structures, rules, that I can quantifiably say, yes or no, black, white, I broke this rule or I didn't.
Yeah.
These little gray, optimistic hopes and dreams that we have can be very ambiguous.
Yeah.
And oftentimes we can neglect the discipline that's needed to actually make success.
Yeah.
Because we don't have clear-cut lanes to walk in.
Yeah, I think you either let the world program you or you reprogram yourself.
Right.
To follow God, to follow heavenly things, to follow the things that are above and not be beneath.
Amen.
Yeah, bro, that's good. So you're training for a marathon right now.
Yeah.
What time?
This is my third marathon, first one that I'm like pushing for a time.
Yeah.
We're going for 2 hours and 45 minutes.
What's the per mile on that?
6:18.
6:18.
6:18.
So what's training look like right now?
So it's 50 to 70 mile weeks. A lot of zone 2 running, you know, and zone 2 is something that's new to me this calendar year. I've been running for about 15 years. Come to find out, my form was jacked and I didn't know about heart rate. And so I'm learning a lot.
Running a half marathon a day.
Yeah,
no
dude.
idea.
And, you know, just redlining myself. And running is a very humbling sport. It's a very special sport too. Like running, my dad was a runner, right? So that's where I kind of picked it up. My dad is a runner, and he always led by example, right? Like there was never a time, even when I was overweight, he never told me, hey, bud, you need to come with me. You need to start working out. He's a keyboard player, piano. He never forced me to learn piano. Now I've got a desire to learn. Yeah. After watching him, I had a desire to get in the gym. I have a desire to start running. I followed his action more so than, you know, him commanding me to do something. But running is special, and we learn a lot about ourselves when we're out there in the pain cave.
The thoughts that you have, yeah.
But are we opening our ears to hear them? Like, are we listening for the voice of the Lord when we're on these runs? You know, far too often, I think sometimes we plug headphones in.
For sure.
And we look at it as cardio, like it's a chore. Like, I got to get this running. No. We get to, first off, you know, there's a lot of people that woke up today unable to get out of bed on their own.
Exactly.
They're rolling on 2 wheels and would get even anything to run one more time. And people that are walking around today that by the time their day ends, maybe they're in a car accident, maybe they have something happen, maybe they will never be able to walk again. The things they would do to go for one more run. Like, are we stewarding our bodies well? You know, and when we go on these runs, are we communing with the Lord?
Yeah.
Like, are we praying?
Yeah.
Are we asking him to reveal impurities in our heart? Do we seek conviction and refinement? Like, do we want to be wrung out? Or do we just want to go hit our mile splits and hit a couple tempo
Post it on
paces,
Instagram.
watch, you know, and I post my watch pics all the time.
Yeah.
But it's like, what happens previous to that picture is special. And it's the secret place. You know, I got the secret place when I sit with the Lord at home, and I also got the secret place when I run, and that's sacred, you know? And I realize now, like, in hindsight, my dad didn't run to get faster. He ran to connect and to be alone and to be with the Lord and to learn and grow and heal and release and to develop from the inside out. And like, that's what running to me is all about.
Yeah.
Is the internal work that happens. The external is just a byproduct, you know?
Yeah.
But it's cool, bro.
How much does it take to have that discipline to get up? I mean, what do you run, like 6 days a week?
Yeah,
When it's cold, you run.
absolutely.
A lot of times in the morning. If you can't fit it in, you still fit it in somehow. You know, you still spend time with your family. But then you're hitting 7 miles, 8 miles, sometimes 7-mile run, an 8-mile run in the same day.
Yeah.
Like, what does that take?
If we care about something enough, we'll make time for it. I can't stand the excuse from people, I just don't have time.
Yeah.
Let's check your screen time.
Yeah.
Like, if we want to just real quick, we can
Right.
blow up that
Oh,
argument.
I have kids. I
I have kids.
though.
Yeah. Well, you know, I love pushing Sophia on the runs.
Yeah.
I see some dads with double, triple strollers. Sophia loves going on a run with dad.
Yeah.
You know, or incorporate your family with them.
Right.
You know, or wake up at a time, or do it at night when it doesn't inconvenience somebody. There's been times like Caitlin wanted me to sleep in and spend a Saturday morning with them, so I do that. Go throughout the day, and then at night it might be 10 o'clock at night. I was like, for your birthday,
Yeah.
I got a 22-mile long run tonight, you know, and we got
You're
those
about
22 miles.
Yeah, it still showed
Yeah.
up.
If
I
we
love
say
it.
we're going to do something and we don't do it, what sort of standard are we setting for ourselves?
Yeah.
And then ultimately not holding, you know, and if we commit to something or someone, more importantly, if we commit to a decision for ourselves, if we can't be honest with ourselves and stick to a commitment for ourselves, there's no way we're going to be able to hold that for other people.
Yeah. And I think at the same time, you have to have grace on yourself because, like, things happen in life.
Yeah.
You know, so, like, when that does happen, just get back up and keep going. Right.
Yeah.
Don't let it spiral out.
Correct. You know, we call those compounding losses.
Yeah.
Don't let your losses compound. It's okay. And I've been guilty of all or nothing.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a lot of mornings, especially in my current role, being the director of sales, that maybe I wake up at 4, expect to be out the door by 5, but maybe my phone starts buzzing at 5, and then I got to get on the computer. I got to do these different things. And now it's 5:45. My first meeting's at 7. Well, I don't have time to go run my 8 miles, get back home, shower, get dressed, and get to that 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
But I have time for 4.
Right.
So why don't I go get 4?
Yeah.
Have grace on myself.
Yeah.
And be at peace knowing that I'm doing the best I can. Maybe I make up those 4 tonight. Maybe I got to roll the 4 over tomorrow, or maybe I just got to let it go.
Yeah.
But if I start to stack up losses, I would rather show up and, you know, Jeff Cunningham says this, he's a running coach, and, you know, you'd rather be consistently good than occasionally great.
Yeah.
And I think that's just wise. The one who can show up and punch the time card every day, consistency wins every single time over the occasional spike in performance.
Yeah.
You know,
What are some of the things that you want to do? Like Leadville, things like that. Like, if you just kind of had like your top 5 things.
well, one of them I was heartbroken about. I signed up for the Last Man Standing.
BBN.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Last Man Standing in April.
Was that the one they did the documentary on? That was crazy.
That was nuts.
Like, there wasn't even like a winner. Like two guys just kept going.
They were going to run
like,
through.
"Hey,
I
guys,
think they
stop."
would have run through the storm.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have stopped.
Yeah.
And we may end up actually running that in April. We'll see, God willing. That one would be massive.
That'd be crazy.
How
far do you think you could go?
It's a great question. That is, I was talking to a buddy of mine, and because he's someone that if I run it, he would be like the guy in my tent.
Yeah.
And like he knows kind of how I'm wired. And I'm not like a loud, proud, like boastful person. This is more of like a me versus me type of battle.
For sure.
But I don't like to put in time, effort, or bring people into something if I'm not going to give 110%.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna everything that I can. The stop button is not something I reach for easily, you know, and it's just putting one foot in front of the other, pushing through that pain. It's a 4.2 mile loop, but Leadville is another one. It's a daunting one. This is one of those like audacious goals.
Yeah. For people who don't know, Leadville is in Colorado. I think you're going like 14,000 feet up. Like you're basically climbing mountains on a 100-mile race. A lot of elevation change, crazy elevation. People wait years to get into this race.
You've got to have, pre-qualifying ultras as well, and this past weekend, the shortest day of the year, longest run of your life, hosted by the Running Exchange Collective, and BPN came in for it as well. Was my first taste of like ultra running. I ran 30 miles on the 4th of July with my buddy, but it wasn't like a race with people there.
Sure.
And this race was super cool because it's just you versus you. There's no podiums, there's no medals, there's no first and second and third place. It's just however far you can run in 12 hours. And the goal is 50. And then I get there, and of course I'm like, well, if I'm gonna run 50, I might as well run 2 full marathons, which is 52.4. And then I got to 52.4, and I'm like, well, I have 4 minutes left. Let's see if I can get to 53.
Yeah.
I did get lost out there in the dark. I was the last one out there. And I got lost on the last trail. My phone was on 2%, no cell signal.
Oh, yeah. I told you about the phone charger.
Yeah, dude. And it was so funny. I was sitting there and I was thinking about you.
Yeah.
Halfway through the race, I was like, dude, my phone has so much battery. Like, what is he talking about? And then it's 5:40 p.m. I'm out in Shelby Park on this trail, and I'm supposed to have hit pavement by now. Should have definitely hit pavement. My Strava is super funny because it shows this loop, and then I go really off track for one of them. I was in the dirt. It's dark, pitch black. I have 2% battery, no cell signal. And I was like, wow.
Flashlight? No flashlight?
No. Well, I've got my watch, but like I can't see a marker for the course that I'm running.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing around. They were just small little tags like every half mile.
You're like 50 miles in, no water, totally lost.
And I'm like, dude, they're going to be shutting down the event. My wife and daughter over there. I was like, this is not happening.
There's always drama, bro.
And so I was like,
it.
dude, and this is in a very small geographic area. I was like, dude, if I go on like a 200 or 300 mile ultra, I've got to take a paper map with me. Like I got to make sure I stay the course and a compass.
Yeah.
So it was funny though, but it was a blast. And the amount of Rice Krispie treats and honey packs that I ate, it was a blast.
Nice. That's sick. What now? Like it seems like with all this stuff that you've been through, all the spiritual warfare, the drugs, going on Big Brother, going through withdrawal on Big Brother, winning Big Brother, going right back to the same life, having nothing in your bank account, wanting to end your life multiple times. It seems like God has a really high calling on you. What now?
That question, it almost like plays in my head every day. And I didn't apply for my job. I knew nothing about roofing sales. I didn't know about Bluebird. The Lord brought me there. And, my first day, the Lord brought me. The last day, he'll pluck me out. I'm at a place in life of I've been so disobedient, so stubborn, so selfish in my life that I just want to do, and it sounds cliche. You know, somebody hearing this might be like, yeah, whatever, that's such a PR answer.
Sure.
Like, I just want to do whatever the Lord wants me to do. And that's one of the reasons why I'm in this chair, and one of the reasons why I said hey to you.
Yeah.
You know, is like I've gotten to a place in my relationship with the Lord when I can tell he wants me to go do something or it's my flesh.
Yeah.
Like discernment in that, right? And I want to do what he wants me to do. And ultimately, I just want to advance the kingdom. I love working with men. I mean, you know, men and women, and helping them come to know the Lord, but especially men, especially younger men, especially people that are either on the path that I've walked, maybe they're already off of it trying to find the Lord, or they're almost there.
Yeah.
You know, the 16, 17, 18-year-old guys
Yeah.
that are watching the same people, the same things that I used to,
Yeah.
that are wooed by all the glitz and glamour of the world, and they want to pursue that. They want to pursue the things of the flesh. They are struggling with substances. They're struggling with family issues. They're struggling with childhood traumas, whatever it might be. And the Lord has allowed me, for most of my life, I didn't understand it. Like, why did he allow me to walk through so many different things
Yeah.
and wear so many different pairs of shoes? And it was to be able to connect with people that are also walking in those, you know, and ultimately for me to take my trials, hide them,
Yeah.
sort of get my Jesus
Yeah.
and tell everybody else like, hey, best of luck to you,
Right.
is extremely selfish.
Yeah.
You know, and I just want to steward the amount of time, however much time I got left in this life, on this earth, the ability to walk, the ability to run, the ability to talk, the ability to be a husband, a dad, a teammate, you know, whatever those roles and titles look like. I just want to do some kingdom work with it, and whatever that looks like, whether it's personal training, running, you know, being the director of sales for a roofing company.
Right.
You know, it's about making disciples there more than it is about anything else.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's the coolest part.
Yeah. I'm going back to Bradley Martin's gym, the zoo.
Yeah, zoo culture.
And there's so many influencers there. Most of them, some of them have a positive influence or partly a positive influence. A lot of them negative influence. A lot of OnlyFans people there.
Yeah.
And I feel like you could talk into that crowd, you know, almost more than anybody.
Yeah, you know, it's we get these opportunities.
Yeah.
We get these resources. We get these platforms. We get these connections, this network, this Rolodex of people that the Lord will cross our paths with. And it's like, what kind of impact and influence are we having on them?
Yeah.
What are we doing with the people that follow us? Like, do we really think about those words carefully? Do we think about, when we see a follower count, what that means?
Yeah.
How many followers do we have? Jesus had 12, and one of them betrayed him.
Yeah.
You know, and it's how many people are we then leading? Where are we leading them?
Right.
What are we leading them to do? What are we showing them? You know, what are we giving them to receive? And I think it's something that I have felt so much conviction on, especially given platforms. You know, when I got off the show, I think it was close to 227,000 followers.
Wow.
And since I quit posting thirst straps and, you know, secular things and talking more about the Lord and being open to my faith, my follower count is tanked, and that's okay.
Good.
Because I don't care about the number, right? I care more about sort of an impact and the content that I make. I want it to be able to point back to the Lord. You know, we will know them by their fruits. Yeah, we will be known by our fruits. You know, and not all who say to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father who is in heaven.
Yeah.
You know, on that day, many will say to me, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name? Did we not cast out demons in your name and do many mighty works in your name? And he will turn to them and say, depart from me, you workers of lawlessness. I never knew you. Now, Matthew 7:21 through 23. That is to believers. That is to the Christian. That is to somebody who professes Jesus as Lord of their life, but is not truly a disciple making disciples.
Right.
And that is a camp that I fell into a large portion of my life that without caution, I could very easily fall back into.
Yeah.
You know, we're never above the works of the devil.
Yeah.
In fact, the closer we get to the Lord, the more he's going to try and intervene and come in the way and bring a wedge to that.
Yeah.
So we got to be more aware and expectant of those attacks.
I mean, it's like a war, and like the closer you get to the enemy, the more he's going to attack.
Yeah.
You're getting closer to the base. There's more people there. There's more attack. There's more demons. There's more spiritual warfare there.
Correct.
Yeah. I think there's also like advanced spiritual warfare. Like as you get to know God, now like the devil can kind of use that scripture and like twist it, and you think you know the scripture, but really you don't, and you get deceived on it. Like
I mean, you know, if he's going
to see it in church all the time.
He did it with Jesus in the wilderness. So you don't think he's going to do the same thing with us? Like he tried to take the living God and his own scriptures and use it against him in the wilderness. And he was also able to convince a third of the angels in heaven to worship him as God. And us in our futile minds think, oh, no. Right. He ain't going to deceive us. In fact, deception is happening when you don't realize it's happening. That is the definition of deception.
Exactly.
Like you don't realize you're being deceived. That is the definition. You know, blatant sin, the obvious stuff, like that's not where you got to keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah.
You got to look for the cracks and crevices when we do an audit on our own heart, right? Like at the end of every day, are we coming to the Lord, laying everything out? Father, reveal to me the areas in my life that I need to be pruned of, rid of, strengthened in. Where am I weak? Where am I vulnerable? Where am I susceptible to attack?
Yeah.
What fruits am I bearing or potentially going to bear that are not glorifying you? Like uproot them from the garden of my heart.
Exactly. I want you to go back to that place when you were right before Big Brother, doing all the drugs, the coke, the Xanax, the Adderall, drinking every night, partying, whatever. And can you speak into that person that you used to be? Like say there's someone watching this podcast and they're on the edge. Maybe they're suicidal. They're having all those thoughts they used to have. What would you say to that person?
Tomorrow's not guaranteed. But if you woke up with breath in your lungs today, you've still got a chance to choose him. We might not get tomorrow. And we are never too far gone or too strung out or too broken for the Lord. In fact, he didn't come to heal the healthy, he came to heal the sick. He came to rescue the one and bring him back to the 99. He came for those that have been broken and lost in the world. He came for the entire world, right? But I think sometimes that young man that I thought of was just, I'm too lost. I'm too far gone.
Yeah.
Like there's no rope left for me. And I think that's exactly the type of person that the Lord really needs to reach. Because the fact that somebody can go through those things, like if you're listening to this and you've had those close calls, you've had those should have been death experiences, you got to recognize there's a Father in heaven guarding you for something.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, if he was done with us, he would have washed his hands with us yesterday. But the fact that we woke up today, that means there's still a chance for us. But eventually those chances run out. Eventually he does hand us over to our desires. Eventually we run out of grace.
Yeah.
That's that free will. Without free will, there is no relationship. There is no choice. There is no love. And that power of free will, we have to recognize and steward that chance while we can before it's too late.
So good. Where can people find you? You know, Instagram, do you want people to follow you on Instagram? You got anything going on that you want people to follow?
Yeah, I've got, my Instagram is just Jackson _Michie. It's Michie. And I just really, I kind of took a break from it past few years. I really needed to get my house in order. I needed to get my life right. I needed to get
The
my
foundation.
relationship with the Lord, right?
Yeah.
Like how irresponsibly and spiritually dangerous for me to continue to post and share and do all these different things while I am in shambles. Like I need to take a step back, work in secret, and let the Lord really iron out some of these wrinkles and shake out some of the stuff that needs to go before I kind of start being more active again. And now it's just, I share my life, little updates here and there. You know, I'll get in the Word and there's something that's just super convicting and I'll share that, you know, or something encouraging, I'll share that. I'm a big fan of instrumental worship, violins and strings and harps and stuff. And Caitlin kind of cracks up at me about it. But I just like things that help me feel closer to the Lord. And I like sharing that, you know, running, my family, instrumental music and scripture. It's a pretty simple life now.
Yeah. You got anything coming up?
Yeah, I got the race in February. I got possibly a race in April, God willing. That would be a blessing. And then now I got my wife and daughter waiting on me tonight at home.
Love it, man. Well, it's been real, bro.
Appreciate you.
I'm glad God put us on the path together.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, literally.
Speaking of your
Pretty crazy.
100-mile ultra,
Yeah.
not long ago,
Yes, sir.
called you asking for advice. Like, hey, I'm going for 50. I'm like, bro, you got 50. It's not even a thing.
Easy money. Yeah. Yeah, maybe we'll do a race someday together.
Thanks for being you, bro.
Yeah, bro. Appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Oh, that was great, bro.